In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to create pivot table in Excel. If you work with lists of sales, reports, or any table of data, pivot tables are one of the fastest ways to summarize information and make it easier to understand. In this example, we'll create a simple pivot table that shows total sales by salesperson. To begin, select the entire table, including the headings. For this example, start by clicking cell A1, where the table begins. This is important because Excel needs to recognize the full data range along with the column names. If your data is organized properly, selecting from the top left of the table helps Excel detect everything more accurately. Next, go to the Insert tab at the top of Excel. This tab contains the tools used to add charts, tables, and pivot tables. So it's the place you'll use whenever you want to summarize data visually or structurally. From the Insert tab, click Pivot Table. This opens the pivot table creation window, where Excel prepares to build a summary based on your selected data. At this point, make sure the selected table or range is correct. Take a moment to confirm that the full data set is included and that none of the columns or rows were missed. This matters because the pivot table can only analyze the data inside that selected range. Then choose New Worksheet and click OK. This creates the pivot table on a separate sheet, which is usually the best option because it gives you a clean space to work in without affecting the original data. It also makes the summary easier to read and manage. Once the new worksheet opens, you'll see the pivot table fields pane. This is where you decide how your summary should be organized. The field list displays the column headers from your original table, and you can place them into different areas depending on what kind of report you want to build. For this example, drag salesperson into the rows area. This tells Excel to list each salesperson down the left side of the pivot table so you can compare them individually. Then drag sales into the values area. Excel will automatically calculate the total sales for each salesperson. In other words, it groups all sales records by salesperson and adds the amounts together for you. Once you do that, your pivot table is created. You now have a clear summary of sales by salesperson in just a few clicks. As a quick tip, always make sure your source table has clear headings and no completely blank rows or columns, since that helps pivot tables work smoothly and accurately.